It's the big day. It is here. It is the 2025 NRL Grand Final. So pumped. It's going to be an absolute cracker between Brisbane and Melbourne. And if you're out there going into this game with any confidence about who is going to win, you are joking yourself. But my job to give you my tips and preview, and I'm going to do that very shortly. But if you've been enjoying our NRL content all year, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Coming up, it's not all over with rugby league action. We've got the Pacific Championships and also the Ashes when Australia will take on England in Europe, traveling around Great Britain, playing some huge games. So covering all that as well with previews of both series. Now, let's dive in to the big one. How do you split these teams? Well, look, it's tough. Obviously, Brisbane are on an absolute run. They've won 6 in a row, but Melbourne have the big game experience. They have the big game players. But I don't know, it's tough. But we follow trends. We follow statistics. And unfortunately for Broncos fans, it points towards the Melbourne Storm. Didn't go very well last time, I know, against Penrith. But can Brisbane put up another superhuman defensive performance again for the second week in a row against this deadly clinical spine of the Melbourne Storm? Unfortunately, I don't think so. So I'm backing Melbourne Storm to win, but you can see how much confidence is in my face. I know it's my job to convince you that Brisbane are going to lose and Melbourne are going to win, or whichever way, but I can't do it. But the stats and trends point to it. And it's obviously, look, based around the head-to-head record since 2019, as long as our stats go back, it's 14-2 in favour of the Melbourne Storm. And one of those losses was actually the game in the last round of the season when Jahrome Hughes broke his wrist playing just 25 minutes. Melbourne were in control at that stage. And while we're on Jahrome Hughes, look, he is the X factor, in my opinion, for the Melbourne Storm. I know they had a pretty good run without him in the team when he was injured a little bit earlier before breaking his wrist against Brisbane. But the numbers don't lie. In attack, they average 15 more points per game when Jahrome Hughes is in the side. So they scored just 22 against Cronulla, but they average 32 points this season when Jahrome Hughes plays. So that leads me to my next bet of this game, and that is the Melbourne Storm will score over 21.5 points, which is their team total for this one. I don't know the number exactly off the top of my head, but I believe in the 16 games that they have played in 2009 since 2019, it was, I think, 11 of those games hit the over. So I think we can expect points despite Brisbane putting on such a clinical defensive performance and the Melbourne Storm being an extremely strong defensive side all season long. So there could be a push towards the over, but I feel more comfortable taking Melbourne's over than the whole kit and caboodle. Look, Brisbane's defense was extremely good against Penrith, but it has been a little bit up and down, and they have leaked points even lately in those final rounds when they've gone on this 6-game winning run. So that's where my bets lie in this one. I like Melbourne Storm to win. I like them to score over 21.5 points. And don't forget and don't miss out on this try-scoring stat as well. Jahrome Hughes has played 13 games against the Brisbane Broncos, including 25 minutes just in that last game. He's scored 12 tries. So in the 12 games before breaking his wrist, he scored 12 tries in 12 games against the Brisbane Broncos. Can't ignore that one. Taking Jahrome Hughes to score, be the difference in this one. Melbourne over their team total, and Melbourne to lift the Proven Summons Trophy in 2025. Just remember, lots of markets open, so gamble responsibly and happy punting.